Okay, I got my home gym pretty much completed, and the situation I had on this is that the place I wanted to work out here it's a second story with carpet and padding and just kind of a clear span floor, so I couldn't go crazy with a bunch of weight up here, just to be on the safe side. So what I did, I needed to build this platform first to protect the floor and have a place to lift on. And so this is real easy, nice and simple. You just take one 4x8 piece of plywood lengthwise, and then you take another piece of 4x8 plywood and you cross it over. Now when you do that, it's going to be double thick right here. So you take a third piece of plywood and cut it into 4x4, and that's your platform here, and then two 2x4 foot pieces on the end. And so what you end up with is this nice T platform that gives you your lane here for bench press and for squatting, and then you got your T out here for your deadlifts and your floor work. And I used 3/4 inch, the nice good quality sanded BC 3/4 inch plywood, and you can see here how nice and thick it is. 1.5 inches thick, because once you sandwich those together. And so the way I built this was this squat and bench press upright, and I had all this hardware I had laying around. I bolted the two 4x4s together, then I bolted them to the platform, which screwed everything together real nice. And so that gives you your squat and bench press heights. And so that actually is a real good design for these. Now a lot of people were building, a lot of people online were doing your do-it-yourself combination bench and squat, and they were taking these two posts and putting them in 5-gallon buckets and cement, and then letting them be freestanding. And they say, well, that's not the best thing, but it's real cheap.
A couple caveats. Number one, I wouldn't bench on this without spotters. I don't think that's smart. You can get hurt. Number two, I would highly suggest you buying a squat rack, not doing this unless you can't find anything and you just have to train. This is really just, I have no money, I need to train, or I can't find a squat rack.
And they say, well, that's not the best thing, but it's real cheap. For about the same price, I'd tell you what you could do. So what you do is you just build like I built here, minus the platform. And so, like, say if you're down in your garage, you want to put this down in your garage, all you got to do is take flat 2x4. Now all you have to do is take two flat 2x4s and run them all along the bottoms there, just to eliminate this for a while. And then you could take that whole thing, and it's freestanding in your garage for about the same price. $50 or so is all. All it is a 4x4s and 3 2x4s. And then once you've built that, it's freestanding, and then all you got to do is either just bolt that anchor that to the floor in your garage, or put some heavy there, and that's going to make extra sure that it doesn't tip forward if someone stumbles. And then you've got a nice freestanding combination rack like that. That's going to be a lot more stable than that 5-gallon bucket concrete freestanding one. And the other problem that they did was they had the freestanding ones with the T legs, and those T legs would T out, and they would be like a kind of a stumbling hazard. So this gives you the nice wide open lane, this design here. And then what I did, I bought this pulley system, and it comes with the cable and the loading pin and a couple of accessories like the rope and the bar. It also came with a short bar, and I made a long bar, a homemade long bar. And so I've got the pulley system set up here on this pulley mast. And so set up like it is, it gives you a nice high pull for lat pull downs and other exercises. So that's the high pull down. And then, let's see if I can do this as one hand. Then you can take the pulley and bring it down here, and this gives you a nice mid. It gives you a nice mid pull, so you can do rows and things like that. You can do seated rows for the mid. And then I brought this open face block here. And so what you do is you feed the cable through that open face block, and now you've got a low pulley system for bicep curls, and you could put a bar on there and do bicep curls. And so that's a nice little, and that kind of lays aside like that. And then I also, this is for, I bought some elastic bands too. This is some of the store-bought stuff I got. I got these nice elastic bands. I paid like $45. I might have got gouged on them. And then what I bought is I bought the safety squat bar. And I really like the safety squat bar, and I've been really wanting to squat, but I have been unable to do that because of just the shoulder pain. And I got these huge shoulder blades, and so when I go back they kind of crowd, and I've really been trying to do squats, but it's been too painful to go do it with a straight bar. So I decided to get this safety squat bar, and it's real nice. And that was $300 on Amazon. And so that's the accessories I bought. So these are the weights that I made, and they're made out of 5-gallon buckets filled with high strength concrete and scrap metal. I then sealed the end, and I don't know if they can see, but it also has a metal tube insert, and that's 2-inch conduit, 2-inch metal electrical conduit, which is perfect size. So I made these weights. I made 3 sets. There's a 65-pound pair, 35, and these are 45 here on the safety squat bar. So let me show you that video about how I made the barbell weights. Okay, I'm getting ready to pour my weights. What we got here is 5-gallon Home Depot buckets, and this is 2-inch conduit, which is perfect to slip over an Olympic bar. 2-inch. And I've got them hot melt glued, and screws to help bind everything together, and cement ready to pour at different weights. One thing I'm going to do is you can put metal into the concrete, which is denser, and it'll actually weigh more per weight. And so if you've got anything laying around, scrap metal, things like that, and what I've got a ton of these transformers. And these are really heavy. They weigh about 22 ounces, and they're about the size of a small orange. So what I'll do is set these into the concrete. Not too many of them. Don't make the concrete too thin between the pieces of metal, and evenly distribute them out in like a spoke wheel type of pattern, so that the weights are balanced. Then you have all of your additional scrap iron weights evenly distributed so that they're balanced. These are worth about 10 to 20 cents a piece for me scrap, so it's real cheap for me to put these in. They're real heavy plate steel type of plates and copper wound on the inside. So I'm going to place them just 1, 2, 3 around, and then pour some concrete, and then put some more transformers, and seal the top with concrete. And then I'm going to take some self-leveling sealer and seal the top so it's doesn't have that bare concrete surface, and then paint the whole thing, cut them off, and that should make a pretty good set of weights, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, here's the weights after I applied the Loctite concrete sealer on top, and that took away that rough concrete surface and made a nice paintable rubbery surface. And again, these are just Home Depot buckets. Drill a 2-inch hole, 2-inch electrical conduit, high strength concrete and scrap metal poured into here, and then Loctite self-leveling concrete sealer on top to make a nice rubbery surface. And so now they're ready to, I'm going to sand the sides to rough them up a little bit so the paint will adhere. and then paint them and they'll be ready to go. Okay, and here's the finished plates after putting a coat of the hammered black paint on there to try to simulate regular steel plates as much as possible. But here's the 3 plates. I got 35, 45, and 65 pound plates that turned out real well. So I got a pair, so those have been painted, and here's the ones that aren't painted yet. The regular plates were being sold out and gouged. I was looking at some, and we were looking at just about $3 a pound for regular plate weights to try to buy them. These were all 3 sets are together 290 pounds, and they cost me just about $100 to make for the material. So we're looking at about 35 cents a pound to make these. All together, what I spent, the platform material, the nice plywood, was right at $100. The materials to make the weights was $100, and all the materials to make the rest of the setup is about $80. So it was about $280 at the hardware store. The safety squat rack was $300, and the pulley system and the elastics were about another $100. So it was I spent about $400 mainly because of that safety squat rack on store-bought stuff, and about $280 on, so just under $700 altogether, lock, stock, and barrel. I do have a straight bar coming so I can do bench press, and one of the other things I splurged at besides the safety squat bar was I'm getting a nice heavy-duty steel bench, which I wasn't too keen on the homemade benches, so that's something I splurged on. And so when those things get in, it'll all be about $1,000, tax, title, and license. Now the squatting is something I've been wanting to do for a long time now, but like I say, I have not been able to do that because of shoulder pain. So I'm getting into it very gingerly. That's about 155 pounds on there right now. I'm just kind of lifting that for right now, and I'm going to it's pretty easy to do, but I'm going to be very ginger about and very cautious about going up in weight. Once my body gets used to squatting, I can start gradually going up in weight and remain injury free that way. So anyway, that's my new home gym, and I got a real late start. Everything was sold out. Even the hardware store was selling out of wood. That's why I got this pressure treated for the main mast because they were out of. I went and added that. They were out of this nice sanded pine. So anyway, that's the home gym.